Hello, welcome back to the Embody Her Now channel. I'm Savannah and I am so glad that you are here today. And if you are new here, welcome. If you have been following my most recent videos, this is a brand new channel, so thank you for tuning in. I want to just share who I am and why I am even qualified, I guess you would say, to be talking about this. And I do want to preface this by saying that I am not a marriage coach. I am not a relationship coach. I specifically work with women to heal their energy. So this looks like subconscious rewiring, reprogramming, nervous system regulation, and basically learning how to master your nervous system. I help women to release emotion, trauma, energy from their energy body and really help people, women specifically, restore their true energy body. And this ultimately leads to them living a fully aligned life, having all of their desires met and manifested in every area of their life because they're just naturally attuned with their soul essence. So that is specifically what I do. And the reason that I decided to do this video is because a lot of the times that women that come into my body of work and start working with me, and even if you're just a woman on a healing journey and a personal growth journey, these questions come up a lot. I know this because of my own clients that I've worked with, but I also know this from firsthand experience that for a lot of women that are in this work and doing this for themselves, some of them are married or in relationships, and they find that through this work, it is starting to bring things to the surface within their relationship that is getting harder and harder to ignore, and feels sometimes that maybe your partner or your spouse is blocking you in some way or not showing up in the way that you would prefer. They're not growing with you. All of these things have come up not only in my clients, but also for myself. And to preface this, I have been married for 5.5 years, but together with my husband for a total of 10. And I, to give you an idea of what our relationship has looked like, especially after we got married, because that's when we moved in together, the last couple of years from present day, things have been good. I don't come into this saying that we were on the verge of divorce or we were arguing all of the time and just did not know how to get along. That wasn't the state of our relationship. It was one of those states where you feel like you get along really, really well and you've built a life together. However, you feel like it's just good. It's not great. And you crave great. You want it to be great. You want it to feel like there's more within the relationship, but there's some kind of disconnect. That is where we were at in 2024 and especially in 2023. Um, And I mean, I've been on this healing personal growth journey really since 2020. And that was when we got married, and things were rough in the beginning when we first moved in together. And, that's very common for newlyweds first moving in together and learning how to coexist together as a married couple. But I feel like the real transformation started to happen last year and in 2024 as well. So I wanted to preface all of that before I got into the episode today, or the video, I guess you could call it, because again, I'm not a marriage coach, I'm not a relationship coach. I help women heal their energy. And what I have found is that when you do this work, your relationships, regardless of if it's your spouse or your partner or a mother or a sister or a friendship, when you apply this work, it heals your relationships. It transforms your relationships. It deepens your relationships. And I'm going to get into as much as I can today, but this could be a whole course itself because of how much energy work that goes into it and just how much depth there is to this conversation. So, first things first, of how I really truly healed my marriage in 2025, which our marriage now today is so, it's I feel like it's at that point where it's what I craved in the beginning, where I knew there was more depth to our relationship. I knew that our relationship was good, but it could be great, and we could be so much closer. We could be so much more on the same page. That's how I feel our relationship is now. And even how I feel our relationship is now, I feel like it's only going to get better from here. It's only going to expand from here. But I feel like there was so much work that went into it in 2025 and in 2024 as well. But really, 2025 is where I've really seen things start to really shift. And the first place that I started to heal my marriage, kind of unintentionally, was I healed myself. And if you're watching this video, you are likely already on that journey, which is beautiful and great. And you're in the right place. You're on the right path, is what I want to tell you. Because as you start to heal yourself, you will naturally start to heal the inner child wounds that are showing up in your relationship. And this is where the disconnect can often happen. I see this so much with clients, and questions that they ask and bring about their spouses and what's really triggering them and what's coming up for them in their relationship. And what people need to realize is anytime that you are triggered in a relationship, or you feel like your partner or your friend or your spouse is not showing up in the way that you desire and the way that you want, this can always be turned back on what is the internal wound that you have that is unresolved. Because if you did not have an internal wound that maybe is from childhood, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have a trigger in the relationship regarding whatever it is that it's regarding. Because anytime that we have or experience a trigger, it's because it is stemmed back from some kind of belief that we hold about ourselves, about the world, potentially old wounds that we have held onto for years and years and years. If we didn't have that, there would be no trigger, because all triggers, all emotions that we experience every single day tie back to our beliefs. So you could think of this as if someone that has studied, let's say, a specific field in science that you have never even heard of, and they say something to you about something that they've studied, they've learned, and they say this, and this about whatever, you're not going to have any kind of emotional trigger to them saying that statement to you, because you have no knowledge, you have no belief about the thing that they just said. Therefore, it's completely neutral for you. You're not getting frustrated, you're not getting, uh, I don't know, annoyed from them making the statement, because you don't you don't know anything about the specific topic at hand. Therefore, your body isn't going to have any kind of emotion to it, because all emotions stem from some kind of underlying belief that we are holding about ourselves, that we are holding about the world, all of that. So as I started to heal myself, when I really was on that journey of healing myself, I noticed how often I was actually turning the focus onto my husband, the things that he wasn't doing, the things that he was doing, the things that I didn't like, or the things that I wish he would do more of. I noticed how much I was pointing the finger at him and taking the focus onto him. And what I realized was that this was my ego trying to distract myself from changing. and from healing the wounds that I was still holding onto, because my body is used to that version of me. My body is comfortable where it's at. So it was constantly trying to find outs. Basically, it was trying to find excuses not to do the reflection on me. So anytime, once I realized this, anytime I got triggered in the relationship, instead of reacting and saying what I wanted to say to my husband in that moment, or even beyond that moment, instead of doing that, I would do my best to really catch myself when I was triggered and when I wanted to react. And instead of reacting, what I would do is I would reflect and ask myself what it was about me that was causing this reaction, because someone else could have very much been in my same situation, that I felt triggered by something he said, but another person in my situation may not have been triggered by what he said. So you can see that the common denominator is me. It doesn't have to do with him. And that's not to say that if he said something and it was hurtful, it doesn't negate the fact that what he said was hurtful, but it wasn't about that. What I was focused on was, what is this saying about me? I'm not focused on him right now. I'm focused on me and why certain emotions are coming up, certain wounds are coming up in the relationship. And I started to get really good at this. I started to get really good, not just in our specific relationship, but even in other relationships and conversations with people and other situations. Anytime I started to get triggered, instead of reacting, I got curious and I started asking deeper questions about what this said about me and why I was experiencing the thing that way. Because if I truly wanted to be a whole person and I wanted to experience my life from a state of joy and peace and love, and not feel like other people's reactions or how people act, I didn't want that to be I didn't want that to hold power over me in how I felt about my life experience. And the only way to shift that is to understand why I was outsourcing my power, why I was outsourcing how I was feeling through other people's words, through other people's actions, and how they were showing up for me. So that was one of the really big places that I started with myself, instead of ever really voicing and saying things that I wanted to say to him. I really made it about me in my healing process. So again, I stopped pointing the finger at him, even if he was considered to be in the wrong, because as I started going further down this journey, what I realized was, through quantum physics and just how physical reality actually works and studying energy, really understanding it, I realized that everything in my physical reality I create. And if there's something about my physical reality that I don't like or I don't prefer, then I have to go within and ask myself, how have I attracted this thing or this situation or this person into my life? How have I been the energetic match for that? Because we can't attract anything into our life without being an energetic match to us. So once I started to realize that, and realize that if my husband isn't showing up in the relationship in the way that I prefer, what would like, how would I have to be showing up energetically? So, how I'm showing up in the relationship for him to be an equal reciprocal of that. That really humbled me and made me realize how much I was actually part of the problem. I see so many women get upset that men aren't showing up a certain way in relationships, and he doesn't say the right things, or he doesn't listen to me, or he doesn't do this for me, like whatever it is. But we have to understand that if they're not showing up a certain way, or if they are showing up a certain way that we don't prefer, we have to look at what's the energetic exchange of that. How am I showing up in that way to where that's his response? That's how he's showing up for me. And when I really understood this, like really understood this, it allowed me to take back so much of my power. It made me realize that I was outsourcing so much of my power to not only my husband, but to other people. So, what I mean by this is for a long time, I really struggled to feel good about myself. And subconsciously, I was feeling good about myself through external validations, whether it was through my achievements, whether it was through how my husband treated me, whether it was through my other relationships. That was how I felt good about myself. But you see how that's outsourcing your power? When you learn how to pull your power back in and give that back to yourself so that no matter what is going on externally, you always feel good about yourself. What happens from a physics standpoint is everything and everyone starts responding to that new version of you of I feel good about myself. People start treating you differently because they have to become an energetic match of who you are embodying then at that point. And if they don't become an energetic match, they leave. They don't stay within your field. So you can start to see how just by doing this work on yourself and going deeper and deeper and deeper with it to an energetic level, things start shifting naturally without you having to really communicate a whole lot. And I'm not saying that there aren't moments where you do need to communicate, but on a subconscious level, people start responding to you differently through energy. And they don't even know that it's happening. It's subconscious, but it's just how we are wired. It's just how things work. So when I realized this and was doing this work on myself, and I applied it in the way of how I wanted my relationship to be, what I realized is, well, if I want a husband that is fully activated in his masculine energy and has the space to do that and wants to provide for me and wants to take care of me, all of these things, I have to become an energetic match of that. And the way that I was showing up was I wasn't even giving him the space to fully activate into his masculine. I was trying to control. I was trying to tell him what to do and show up a certain way. But that's not the reciprocal of what I was saying I wanted. So, what I had to do was I had to start seeing him in his power. I had to start trusting him. I had to start receiving the things that I desired from him before I ever even got it, before it ever even activated in him. But because I made that internal change energetically, it allowed for him to energetically match that change. And that's how things really started to shift and heal in our relationship. And again, there were some conversations that were necessary that we had to have because through me healing and my journey, it was forcing things up to the surface. So there were conversations that we did have to work through and heal through, but we were able to heal through them together because not only will your healing journey heal you, but you'll be able to hold the space much, much differently for your partner, for your spouse. Because when you heal yourself, you're no longer coming to you're no longer coming to the relationship of what can he give me? I need this, what can he give me? But when you're a healed, whole individual, you've healed your internal wounds, you've taken back your power, you've shifted your energy, you show up to the relationship very, very differently. And he feels that subconsciously. He doesn't realize it. You don't have to tell him that's what's happening. But what's happening is you're naturally creating an energetically safe space to hold him to now where he's starting to heal because of your essence, because of your energy. It's naturally shifting something within him that we can't even see, but it's allowing him to heal the parts of his wounds that need to be healed. And that's the most beautiful thing that I've been able to see in my relationship is he initially gave me the safe space without realizing it when we first got married, for me to feel safe enough to go on a healing journey and exploration journey for myself without feeling a bunch of pressure from him to show up a certain way and do certain things. Things weren't perfect, but energetically speaking, he made me feel safe. And I was able to go on that healing journey for myself. And now, what I am seeing and realizing so beautifully, like full circle, is because he initially gave me that safe space to do for myself. Now I am grounded. Now I am whole. Now I am healed. And now I can return the favor for him. And he can soften into what he needs to do for himself. It obviously looks very different from for a masculine man, but as a feminine woman, and as more women shift into their divine feminine essence, this is what is going to help heal the planet. This is what's going to help heal communities. You just becoming a healed whole person, going on that journey with yourself, you naturally unlock your divine essence. You naturally unlock your divine gifts, which is ultimately healing medicine for the planet. Whatever that is uniquely for you, it becomes a healing energy for other people around you. So, this doesn't just apply to your relationship with your partner, it applies to everyone that you come into contact with. The more grounded, the more in your own power, and the more you allow your natural essence to flow through, to shine through, you're able to help heal more people. And that is what I truly believe is going to help heal the planet as a whole. Is when we heal ourselves first, it has a ripple effect on the planet. So I hope that this makes sense. I hope that this is landing for you. And if you are on a healing journey, or you've been on a healing journey, or you're brand new to it, um, you're on the right path. You're going the right way. If you would like deeper support in this, I do have a program that is dedicated to teaching you everything that I did to completely heal myself and transform my life, transform my relationships, called the 6 weeks to release old identities and embody your soul essence. Right now, you can join the waitlist, and it is going to be reopening in January, early January 2026. So, in less than a month. If you are on the wait list, you will obviously be notified first, and you will get the best deal possible just for being on the wait list. If you are watching this beyond that timeline, I will still have the link below for you to join the program if it is calling you and you feel pulled towards deepening your healing journey. So, thank you so much. If this video was helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more content just like this one.